So, I'd highly recommend that you don't roll a vehicle. Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video. Now, those of you that follow me on Twitter will know that today is a really big day because I'm driving to Frankfurt via the Nürburgring in this S6 Avant TDI that's been loaned to me by Audi UK. As you can see, I've got a co-driver. He goes by the name of Stephen Chalkley.
Good morning.
He's not been on this channel before, but his cars have. Actually, I had his Mk1 Golf GTI convertible on here back in June, the really low mileage one, and then probably about a year or two ago I had your B7 RS4 Avant when you sold it to me the first time, and when I sold it the second time. So if you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link in the description below. Now, the reason for this trip is that I've not been to the Frankfurt Motor Show before. Stephen has, and he's a big fan of it, and there's a very good chance it won't be on again, what with all the commotion over protesters about cars and stuff. So I thought, if I'm going to go, it's got to be this year, and what better way to do it than in this S6. Also, we're both big Rs6 fans, and as you probably know, you might have seen it on social media, it kind of was launched at the Frankfurt Motor Show about a week ago. So we're getting there quite late, but it's still on, and there's a lot to see, especially if you're a Volkswagen Group fan. So I'm going to try and daily vlog, and it's going to be pretty tricky, but we'll see how we get on. Today hasn't started off very well. I mean, the reason I'm in Milton Keynes and I'm not on the M40 heading towards the M25 is because there's an accident on the M40 that's blocked it. Our ETA for the train is 11:18, the train is at 11:20, so it's not looking great. We're trying to get to the Nürburgring for the evening tourist session, which is looking very unlikely right now. That's, we're going to lose an hour crossing the channel. And to top it all off, the tourist session on the Saturday, when we'll be back at the ring, has been cancelled as well, so we're a bit shafted in that respect. But Waze, the app, is looking after us, and hopefully we might be able to get some time back when we hit the M1 and the M25. So stay tuned, see how we get on. There's a lot of unpredictability in this trip, but tonight we're in Frankfurt, aren't we? Today, this morning, we're at Milton Keynes, so yeah. Stay tuned for updates, and I'll catch you somewhere along the journey later. Okay guys, well, we're here at Eurotunnel, got here at 11:15, which was 5 minutes before our train was departing, so we missed that. It wasn't our fault, we left ample time, but the M40 was shut, M20 was problematic. We did pretty well to get here for that, I think. We've been put on a train now that's like 2.5 hours later than that, which is a bit of a drag, because whilst there are some interesting cars to look at, it's not that interesting here. So I'll probably just do a bit of editing now and catch up with this vlog and then get it up later. So next time you'll see us, hopefully we'll be in
Gay Paris or somewhere like that.
We'll have to be really lost to be in Gay Paris. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm in the passenger seat now. I drove the car all the way from the tunnel to somewhere near Brussels, I suppose, and passed it over to Stephen, who's comfortable straight away, aren't you, behind the wheel? We've done in total 364 miles, but we've made a real meal of it. What with traffic in the UK and traffic here in Europe, we're going to get to our destination in Frankfurt pretty late tonight, about 10:15. We're getting 36.7 miles to the gallon, which, okay, not brilliant for a diesel, but it is like a 2.5 ton diesel, and it's just the most relaxing drive, this car. You know, it's great at these kind of speeds, which is about 80 miles an hour. It should be really good on the autobahn, but it's really good in traffic as well. So if you've got to spend a day in a car, this is the car, and it's probably double the MPG of the previous 4-litre turbo petrol car. So I'm pretty happy with that. I know Matt Watson video that dropped today says he doesn't like it, but you should stop sticking sticks up the exhaust and go and drive it on a trip like this. Okay guys, we're just getting to the German border in the S6 TDI. You can see the line on the map there, and the signs have turned blue, and I think that's it now. It's the old border crossing, isn't it? That's it, change of tarmac. It says 120 on the... Now it's gone to de-restricted. Bad. 130 straight out of the bag. Okay, what's the time now? It's 21:44 local time, so 9:45, which is UK time, 9:45. We started off at 7:45, so I can't even work that out there. Is that 13 hours ago? Stephen did the driving sort of from the back end of Belgium to here. Had all the autobahn.
Brilliant.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's a brilliant car. Really stable as well. Once we put it into, do you prefer it in auto or dynamic mode on the autobahn?
Auto, softer.
Yeah. So any bumps on the autobahn, it just didn't disturb it. So I ran the sweepers at 120 miles an hour. It was perfectly lovely. Let's go and have a look at the stats on the trip computer, because we know you love stats. So I might need the key actually, because it's just a. Now the fuel consumption will not be anything to write home about, because we've been rather using the throttle and the 700 Newton meter of the torque quite a lot. So let's have a look anyway. Long-term memory, I reset it before we left. We've done 588.5 miles, 10 hours worth of driving at an average speed of 94 kilometers an hour, roughly 59 miles an hour, 35.3 miles per gallon. So yeah, so it's now time, I think, to have a well-earned beer, and I think the car's going to stay here tomorrow, because tomorrow's the one to watch. This video today has been really a bit of a storm, hasn't it? Everything's gone wrong. Even the exit to come off the dual carriageway in Frankfurt to come down to the hotel was closed, and we had to go about 20 minutes out of the way. So yeah, tomorrow's video we're going to the show, so that will be a lot more interesting, I think. So see you for that one soon. Okay guys, here we are in Hall 3 of the Frankfurt Motor Show. This is the Volkswagen Group hall. So we've got all the brands here, Porsche over there, Audi here, Volkswagen here, Seat I think are over there, and Skoda over there. Before we get into the e-mobility thing, I'm just so pleased to see they've got all the GTIs lined up, because as far as I know, the GTI can't be bought. So the fact it's here with the new Volkswagen logo all over it, centre caps, grille badge, steering wheel. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that looks like the new badge. But does it mean it's going to come back on sale? I hope so. Nothing else looks different. We've still got the plastic there. Tom Banks, you'll be glad to know. So yeah, that's a good sign. Then we've got the Polo GTI, a great car, but it's somewhat lost between the excellence of the two other GTIs, and TCR with a Krapovich. I don't know why, but I look at that car and I get tingles down my spine. It's just such a great drive. Now, whilst they're saying that electric cars can be like this record-winning ID.R, the reality, at least for the moment, is they look like the ID3, which Volkswagen are very heavily promoting here. They're giving out bags with the orange bags there. You can see to everybody. There are posters all around the place promoting it, and you know, for a first effort, it's pretty impressive, pretty good to look at. It's obviously a new thing with the contrast colours and stuff, but it's not as in your face as say the BMW i3. As anyone who's owned a Golf will be pretty happy with the way it looks. It just, you know, it looks different, but it looks familiar. The big difference to me is the way the windscreen comes down to the front axle, because of all the clever packaging they can do with the electric motor. He's obviously particularly interested in that as well. So yeah, I'm sure that'll be a very nice car to drive, and it'll be the perfect zero emissions car for a lot of people. You can even have it with bronze wheels. Thank you, sir. There's a lot of this around now where the wheels are actually not particularly open. The Porsche Taycan has got filled in spokes, and I'm pretty sure that's for aerodynamic efficiency, plus they don't need to cool the brakes as much because they're using regenerative braking. Passat GTE, this is the new model, and this is apparently going to make up 1 in 4 of sales in the UK, which for a hybrid is pretty remarkable. That's quite a big seller as well. The new Passat is interesting, but it's not that different to the other Passat that's just been superseded. A few little detail changes. My favourite one is that Apple CarPlay can now be used wirelessly, so that was always a bit of an omission where you could charge wirelessly but you couldn't use CarPlay wirelessly. So this is a famous sort of lineup of electric cars for the future. Obviously the ID3 is pretty current, but all this is where we're going to go. So yeah, exciting times for Volkswagen fans like me and you. Okay, I've come back to the Volkswagen stand because there's one car I forgot to show you earlier, and that's the Volkswagen T-Roc R. Now in theory it's just like a Seat Cupra Ateca, but we know that with the Golf R they made that car feel different to the Audi S3, so hopefully this car will be significantly different to the Ateca. Let's have a look inside. So yeah, it's what you'd really expect. Present seats, bit of Alcantara there, bit of blue on there. Typical T-Roc to have a bit of colour coding inside. It's a beeping. That's better. But yeah, not bad. Let's have a look under the bonnet. So it should be the familiar EA888 engine. Like so, yeah, so it looks just like a Golf R under there. Let's check out the styling then. So we've got these Pretoria style wheels, 19s. Interestingly, we've got the bigger performance pack brakes, so we've got aluminium belt, steel disc. And then we've also got the Krakovic exhaust system on this one as well, so they seem to be everywhere at this show, whether it be on the TCR, on the Ateca limited edition. Yeah, so a really interesting car, and I'm looking forward to driving one of those soon. There is one more T-Roc I really want to show you, but I don't necessarily want to ever drive it. It's a T-Roc convertible launched at Frankfurt, and it's a rival for the Range Rover Evoque. It's got some nice quilted leather in there. It's not a bad looking thing, but the concept of a convertible SUV is a slightly dubious one in my eyes, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. Well, let us know what you think in the comments about the T-Roc convertible. Right, I think that's the best of the Volkswagen range done. Now, time for Audi. Okay guys, here we are on the Audi stand, which is significantly busier than the Volkswagen one, interestingly. But I can't really get a look at any of the RS models. There's everything here. We've got all the RSs in red, so RS3, TTRS, we've done all those on my channel quite a lot. We haven't done the RS7, but hopefully we will one day. Again, I can't even really show you a clear shot of it, but somebody's opened the bonnet. And it does fit in there rather tightly. Beautiful inside, pillarless doors. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. The A7 is a bit of a Marmite car, but I think with the RS additions, the wider arches, diffuser, useful bit of carbon. Wheel exhaust there, and a real exhaust there. Yeah, there's definitely a good reason to buy that over, say, an S7. I do like the colour of this S5 though, it's beautiful. It's got a lovely tan interior as well, and carbon inlays. But you can see how popular it is because the seats look like they've done 100,000 miles. And over here, with a massive queue of men waiting to get inside it, is the Rs6. I mean, look at that, a queue with even policemen. Still, there's a good clear view from the back, so this is probably the best angle with the arches. Yeah, you might have seen footage of this car on videos. I can tell you in the metal it's even more striking. Can't wait to see them all sort of blacked out without the chrome though. Beautiful. So there is a definite reason to pay the extra for the Rs6 over the S6, which is actually over here and looks pretty apologetic in its grey paint. Here's the S6. Still creating some interest, but yes, it's diesel, yes, it's got fake pipes, but the car to get in and use and live with and put miles on all year round, economically as well, and it's brilliant to drive. Yeah, this is it. I mean, we all like to think we'd have the Rs6, but the reality of it is the S6 is just so much cheaper to own and just probably nicer to drive in most circumstances. But we've got to be grateful they're still making the Rs6 with all this electric stuff going on. The one I want to really see is the Rs6 Performance, which is 700 horsepower and hybrid, so it gets the extra 100 horsepower from an electric motor, which should be incredible. They've kept that a bit quiet now to make people probably buy the lower model. Anyway, on to the concepts now. So we've got the AI Icon, I think this is called. This is probably Mark Richter after a bit too much beer, but it's, yeah, incredible. Looks like the space age cars of my youth, with nothing to steer the car with, some slightly suspicious shag pile carpets. Yeah, presumably that's not going to be a driver's car in any sense of the word. Okay, blimey, this is busy. Busy. Okay, this is another car that's badged the e-tron. It's called the AI, and again, similar style to the other one. Probably a little bit more closer to ever coming into production. It's got the steering wheel, which helps. Here's the front of the A Icon. And we'll compare that to a certain BMW concept later on. A8s, well, you know, I can see the appeal of those as well. It's a pretty striking car. We're into the silvers now, so I'm not sure what that means. A6 Avant, again, very, very popular. I tell you, if the number of people on the stand is representative of the popularity of Audi in the sales, it's a really, really good sign. And A1, so this is probably as close to an S1 as we're going to get. This is the A1 City Carver, so it's a bit like an all-road A1. Yeah, not really my bag, not in peach especially. Okay guys, I think that's the best of the Audi stand, unless you want to see a cutaway of an engine, which obviously lots of middle-aged men do. Oh, that looks, yeah, sorry, did I say engine? I think it's actually a motor. Okay guys, here we are on the Seat stand, and there's some pretty interesting cars on here, like this Elborn, which to my eyes looks like the ID3 just with some sexier Spanish flair to it. Probably cheaper plastics and probably a slightly lower retail price. The quarter panel bit looks very ID3. The back looks great though, full width light bar. Yeah, just typical Seat, based on a Volkswagen. A little better looking and probably a bit cheaper. But if that's the future of electric mobility, I'm quite pleased with that. We've got an Arona which runs on TGI. It's not a crappy restaurant on the Hagley Road in Birmingham. It's actually a gas, and it means the CO2 on that car is like below 100 grams, which is per kilometre, which is really, really good. We've got this thing that looks like a Twizy, but it's quite clearly a Seat called Mini Mo or something. And then a good 10-foot gap over to Cupra, because they are a different brand. Now there's this concept here which looks like a cross between the Tesla with the gull wing doors and a Jaguar I-Pace. I presume it could use Audi e-tron underpinnings. It's the same sort of size. Yeah, it's alright if you're into that kind of thing. Very interesting carbon fibre wheel arch spats. It's called a Tavascan. Yeah, Seat or should I say Cupra, are on a bit of a roll, I think. Let's have a look at some more conventional Cupras. Don't say Seat, it's Cupra. Okay, so there's an Ateca limited edition over there. That looks like an Akrapovic, blimey, so yeah, that's going to cost a fair bit of money and sound very little different to the standard car. Nice sort of purpley grey. I love the metallic on this one. I mean, the days of Seat being the poor relation to Volkswagen and Audi are long gone. Look at that carbon detail. Beautiful, beautiful. For me, these are my favourite EA888 engined MQB cars. It's also got big brakes, so yeah, serious piece of kit. And this is really interesting. It's the Seat E-Racer, so it looks like a TCR car, but to the next level. Powered by electricity. Presumably there's a series in the offing, but it's currently running, I don't know. It's got a Matthias Ekstrom name on the side of it. But yeah, hopefully that'll be a bit more exciting to watch than Formula E. God knows how much those mirrors are going to cost when somebody smashes them in the first corner. Look at that, beautiful. It's too delicate to be a racing car, that, but it's a lovely concept. Okay, well, it's only fair that we should have a look at Skoda, so let's go there now. Right, Skoda, well, yeah, is there anything particularly exciting here? Nothing looks particularly new. That's definitely the hybrid powertrain, and that's superb though. So yeah, look, it's got the charging point there. It's got all the orange wiring and stuff, so that looks pretty similar to Passat GTE. Skoda's not really had an awful lot of publicity, but it's basically a Golf sort of size car. Yeah, it's slightly awkward looking. To me, it's called a G10. Sounds like a vacuum cleaner. Actually, the same colour as a vacuum cleaner. Heritage there. Tavia VRS, which looks pretty similar to how it has done for a long time. I presume that's a Kodiaq VRS. Kodiaq. Yep. Black badges. Skoda, please redesign that because it's crap. It's holding you back. At least it's not green anymore. A bit more space on this stand at least. Anyway, oh look, we have a 100% electric Skoda Citigo. That completes the threesome of electric small city cars in the Volkswagen Group. Okay, got more SUVs, bikes on top, and another Scala. Okay, well actually, before we give it up altogether, let's have a sharp contrast with the Lamborghini. Okay guys, I'm in a very slightly different part of the Frankfurt Motor Show. I'm in the Heritage Hall organised by a company called Motor World, and it's full of like classics and exotics. Surprising amount of Porsches and Mercedes, but I think they're really good companies for supporting the older cars, unlike certain companies I could mention. So we've got some lovely stuff in here. Diablo, Alpha 8C, not an awful lot of Volkswagen Group stuff, but I just don't think people get too excited about those in their home country. Apart from Lamborghini, obviously. You can buy yourself a lovely trailer for your SLS. You can buy yourself some leather, which is apparently Italian. Or you can buy yourself a Bugatti Veyron. Or in fact, numerous other models from the Bugatti range, old and new. Pretty serious cars here with some impressive racing pedigree, no doubt. Look at that. Okay, loads of Mercs again, even one carved out of wood. Look at these, they're just so beautiful. But the highlight of the show, which is the one that's making news all around the world, is Volkswagen's brand new electric car. Okay guys, you're probably a bit surprised to see me on the BMW stand, but I just thought I'd show you this BMW Concept 4, which is a very beautiful car apart from one angle, and that's that grille, which looks bloody stupid. I don't think Mark Lichter at Audi will be too worried about what they've done there. I know it goes back to some old car from the 1930s that BMW used to make, but it ruins what is a very beautiful design in every other area, side, back, everything is just very well proportioned, but the grille is ridiculous, just makes it look like this. And that's not a good look. And it's not just the 4 Concept that's got the stupid grille on it, there's this BMW iNext Concept, which has also got it, and if that's what's coming next with BMW, I think a lot of owners will be buying Audi next instead. There are lots of things you can do at the Frankfurt Motor Show, like driving on the off-road track, but we thought we'd do something a little bit different. Here is a roll simulator on this Mercedes A-Class, and we're both going to go in and they're going to turn the car upside down with us in it. So, let's get in the car.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're strapped into the Mercedes A-Class just with a normal seat belt, and it's basically to demonstrate what happens if you roll a vehicle, because the passenger becomes disorientated and really weird.
Oh wow.
Really weird. The gimbal's not very happy either.
My God. Oh, I'm coming out the seat. Wow.
Yeah, the gimbal's gone mad.
That is... But how much pressure is there on your face and the blood?
So, I'd highly recommend that you don't roll a vehicle.
Wow.
Jesus, that last sort of third of the roll was very uncomfortable. But we're still alive.
Fantastic.
Okay, well that's the Frankfurt Motor Show over and done with, and it's an incredible event, highly organised, lots to see. I don't think we've seen everything today, but it was, yeah, pretty memorable. So, good time I think to reflect on the cars of the show. So what was your favourite car, Stephen?
Has to be the Taycan.
Yeah,
obviously.
why is that? Why is that?
Nicest interior of a car I've ever seen. It's so clean, but so much technology at the same time.
Yeah.
Definitely on the wish list.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's the Volkswagen ID3. I'm not particularly excited about it at the moment, but what does excite me is the interest there today. There were queues of people just queuing to sit in it and have a feel with it, and I think give it a couple of years, this car's going to be everywhere, and I just hope there's enough electricity to supply it. Right, well, let's try and avoid walking into these pictures of these people on this lovely bridge crossing what we think might be the River Main, not the River Rhine, in Frankfurt. I should know this really. And we're going to go back to the hotel, try and have a bit of a rest this evening, because tomorrow we're going to... Where are we going?
The Ring.
Yeah, tomorrow we're at the Nürburgring. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending which way you look at it, we're not driving, but it should be a good drive over there, should be lots to see. So tune in for tomorrow's vlog from the Nürburgring.